Welcome to Visual Traffic Recorded Online Training, Accounts Receivable Session 1. In this session, we'll cover how to enter credit adjustments, how to apply credits, how to do a debit adjustment, how to enter cash receipts, how to transfer cash receipts, how to do a payment reversal, how to apply a payment to the order, and editing a payment. Credit adjustment. To enter credit or debit adjustments on the statement, you'll need to do the following. Go to AR, View Edit Statements. You can view an advertiser or an agency statement, but you cannot edit an agency statement. So select Advertiser. You'll want to make sure that your statement view parameters are set to Accounts Receivable. Tab over to Advertisers. To find your advertiser, you may use the drop-down. You may start typing in the name, or you can use the Find button. Once you've selected your advertiser, make sure that you have the correct statement group selected, and then make sure you are selecting the correct AR account if you want to see just one individual station's AR. In the lower right corner, you'll see the total balance for this client, as well as the aging broken out by month. Go ahead and change our statement date because we are working in the month of June, so we'll set this to June 30th. We are going to be doing a trade credit. We will click Apply Adjustment. The adjustment date defaults to the date of the statement. We'll leave this set at 6/30/2011 and tab to your adjustment item ID. If you are doing debits and credits, I suggest that you leave this item alone. Your offsetting account. These titles are coming from your chart of accounts, so that we could say this is local trade for this station. You'll notice that my description says beginning balance invoice number. This was set up in my corporation setup when I first entered my beginning balances when I started my visual traffic. I transferred my beginning balances from another traffic system using this method. I leave it this way so that I'll remember to change the description each time I enter in a new adjustment. The adjustment description should be a description of what this item is, or it could be an invoice number. Tab again to your adjustment amount. The adjustment amount is the amount of the credit in this case. Tabbing again will bring you to debit or credit. This is a credit. Because I selected my AR account before we began the adjustment, I don't need to select it now. If I had left that AR account at all AR accounts, I would have to select the AR account now. Transaction to apply against. At this point, I'm going to leave it as unapplied. My salesperson is Bill Price, and we'll say OK. Here is the trade credit I just entered. Now, how do we apply credits to outstanding invoices? If you look at this client, you'll see an outstanding credit in the amount of $12,002. Applying credits. I need to apply these to the outstanding invoices that are remaining. To do so, I'm going to click on the credit and then click Edit Item. When I edit the item, I want to distribute a partial amount to another item. So I'm going to check this little box. What this does is allows me to change the partial distribution amount. So I won't be applying the whole amount of the credit to an invoice, just part of it. Notice that I dragged the box down so that I can see the invoice amount, and over under Transaction ID is the transaction we want to apply against. Once again, we're checking to make sure that the salesperson is correct. Click OK. And now that has an outstanding balance of 0. Doing it again, Edit Item, Distribute Partial, the figure, and then we'll select the invoice number. So now you know how to enter a credit and how to apply an existing credit. Debit adjustment. Now it's time to look at debit adjustments. You'll see that I am on Plant World Nursery with my AR account being AR Cash TRN1 FM. And I have a return check charge adjustment here. If we edit this item, this was a debit adjustment. It is now posted to history. It was a returned check fee. I debited the account $30 using the offsetting account as bank fees. Occasionally, you'll have the need to transfer items from one AR account to another. For instance, if you put in an order that had an incorrect AR account and you have already closed the month, you will need to manually transfer those invoices. Before you begin the adjustment, you'll need to know which offset accounts to use. What you will do is click on the original item that you are going to do the debit and credit situation with, and click Edit Item. Check the offsetting account in the upper window, and make sure of the AR account in the lower portion of the window. Click OK, and do the same thing for the second one. So we see we're going to be using the offset account of BB TRN1 FM. and the AR account of TR1AM. Click OK. We'll click on the 0 so that the Apply Adjustment is activated for us, and we're going to apply an adjustment. This first adjustment will be dated 1/31/2011 because we need to keep the aging true to form. Our adjustment item ID will be left alone, and our offset account is once again BBTR1FM. Your adjustment description: transfer beginning balance to correct AR account. Put in the amount of the beginning balance and leave it as a debit. Then you will select your AR cash account, leave it as set as unapplied, and OK. You need to apply adjustment again. This time we'll use the date of 2/28, leaving the adjustment alone, offset account, and say OK. Let's go back and edit this item and correct the spelling mistake. Now what we'll do is click on the payment, edit the item, and we'll change the AR account to the FM. If I didn't change the AR account, I wouldn't be able to apply it to the adjustments I just entered. Switch this to the FM, select in the drop-down, apply it, and OK. Click on this, edit, change the AR, and apply it, OK. Now we need to do credits to the remaining outstanding invoices that were the original beginning balances. To do so, I'm going to click on the invoice and apply adjustment, and we'll use the same date to adjust it. It will be a credit in the amount of the beginning balance. And because I have selected the invoice first, notice that I do not need to select the transaction to apply against. Go ahead and click OK. Click on the next one, and let's do the same thing. Notice that this now has an extension of 51450. That's because this was not made a credit, so click it, edit item, change it to a credit, and OK. When you see you have an incorrect amount, because the month is still open, I can edit the item and simply change the amount. Now we have a zero balance, which is what we had when we came into the statement, but everything is now on the correct AR account. Go ahead and close this. Cash receipts. Now that you know how to put in debits and credits and do adjustments and apply them, it's time to enter some payments. To enter payments, we'll go to AR, Cash Receipts, and Deposits. When this screen opens, notice that it says Cash Receipt Deposits, and it shows you the date range of the month you are currently in. This is the month of August, but we are going to be working with the month of June. To get into June, you'll need to click Change Dates and key in the June dates that you wish to look at. Click OK. At the top, you'll see the deposits already made for the month. In the middle, the receipts that are attached to those deposits. To begin a new deposit, click New Deposit, put in the date, and select your bank. Click OK. It has started a new deposit slip for you, so now it's time to add receipts to that deposit slip. To begin a new receipt, click New Receipt. You'll notice that you can add a receipt for advertisers, agencies, or direct income. This way, when an agency sends you a check that's paying for multiple advertisers, you can just enter the payment under the agency name. Direct income is money that is not tracked through visual traffic via an order or billing. It's money that's come into the station from such things as ticket sales, t-shirt sales, etc. that you want on your bank deposit slip in VT to make it easier to reconcile to your bank statement at the end of the month. Direct income will not show on your AR aging. When you're getting ready to enter a receipt, and you have a check, if you do not find the advertiser name from the drop-down list or simply typing it in, go ahead and click Find. Here you may search by the name, and then when we say by the name, you don't have to type in the entire name, just part of it. You could search by the advertiser ID, the agency name, or the AR transaction ID. The AR transaction ID is useful when a client sends a check. They don't have a business name on the check. It might be a personal check, but they do have the invoice number on it. Once that invoice number is on there, that is an AR transaction ID. We're going to do a payment for H&W Motors. We've tabbed into the field that's Receipt Description. This field will print out on their statement saying, Payment, thank you. Tabbing again brings us to Check or Cash. If your payment is a check, you'll leave the radio button check mark. Otherwise, you can use cash. If you are receiving payments in cash, I would suggest it's a very good idea to write out a receipt for that cash payment and then use that receipt number in your receipt ID down below. Tabbing again will bring us to Receipt Date. The receipt date automatically defaults to the deposit date. Feel free to change this if you wish. The receipt ID is either the check number or the cash receipt number, or if you are using a credit card, this could be Visa 1 for the first Visa payment, Visa 2, etc. Now you need to put in the total amount of the check. In the check memo field, you could note that this was a personal check rather than a business check. You could also use this field to put in authorization number for a credit card. It's very important to remember not to use the enter key in cash receipts and deposits. If you do, the screen will close and you'll have to go back in. So we're going to click Save Receipts and then Apply to Statement. Applying the payment to the statement allows us to determine which invoices this should pay off. When you come into the cash receipt distribution, the fields in white in the upper third of this box can be changed. If you had an incorrect amount, you could change it without having to cancel and go back. I changed my statement group because this is the bank I'm working with, and now we're going to start paying off invoices. The good thing is I can simply click Pay Off after making sure that my commission and my salesperson are correct. I'm paying off these invoices in full. But what if you want to split the payment up between two invoices and neither one of them is being paid off? At that point, you're going to click on the invoice you wish to apply a payment to, key in the amount of the payment, make sure that your salesperson is correct and your commission is correct, and apply to the item. We now have $227.50 remaining, and I'm going to pay it off on the next invoice. Click OK, and here is your first receipt on that new deposit slip. Let's go ahead and do another new receipt. We'll click New Receipt and type in the name of the advertiser, the check number, and then the amount. Save Receipt and Apply to Statement. Selecting the statement group, you will see that we only have one outstanding amount, and that's a $30 one. This $30 item was a returned check. In that case, there will not be any commission paid on that, so my commission structure would be no commission. I'm going to pay this off. That leaves me with $470 left to distribute. I can click on the Add New Unapplied as long as this is an advertiser, not an agency. Agencies do not have this line. Add New Unapplied or Apply to Order or Account. The amount you wish to apply needs to be entered here. And if you are going to apply it to an order, you will see here that it lists all of the orders for the client. If this was a prepayment for an order that is not yet in the system, you will need to select the AR account you wish this payment to be applied against. You would then need to select the salesperson and their commission structure. At that point, you would set it as unapplied. So this says RCT, that's a receipt. Had I applied it to an order, it would say OAR. Let's do another new receipt and apply an agency payment. They start out the same way as a regular payment. I'm keying in this amount incorrectly on purpose. We're going to say Save Receipt and Apply to Statement. So what we would be doing is paying off these two invoices. They're the oldest ones, and this is what the agency wished us to pay off. We'll pay that off and pay that off, and you'll see I have a great deal of money remaining. So what I would do is look at the check again and make sure that I had the correct amount. And the correct amount is $25,024. We'll click OK. Now that these payments are in, we can go ahead and print a deposit slip. Click Print and Preview. You could also click Print right away so you could print this deposit slip. I've previewed it to screen so you'll be able to see it better. You'll see that it has the bank name, the deposit date, the deposit number, the account number to deposit it to. I wouldn't recommend using the real bank account number here. Any currency and coin that would have been entered from your cash payments, and the amounts of the checks. And then it gives you a total deposit. Transfer receipt. Let's say you were busy entering payments and you needed to come out of cash receipts and deposits to check something, and when you went back in, you selected an incorrect deposit slip. What you need to do is transfer that receipt from the incorrect deposit to the correct deposit. So you click on the incorrect deposit and then Transfer Receipts. Find the receipt you need to transfer and then select the date you wish to transfer it to. Click OK, and it has successfully transferred the receipt. Payment reversal. It's now the 21st of June and you've discovered that one of your checks has not cleared through the bank. Precision Glass has had an issue with their checking account and you need to reverse this payment. You can only do a payment reversal in the current month. So if I had gotten notice of this payment reversal in July, I would not reverse it in check deposits. I would do it as a statement adjustment. I'm going to select the payment I wish to reverse and say Payment Reversal. You get a warning box that it's been applied to one or more statement transactions. When you reverse this receipt, it's going to cause all receipt applications to be removed from the current transactions, and once they've been reversed, you can no longer edit within the AR system. Are you sure you wish to continue? Yes. Enter the reversal date, which is the date you got the notice from the bank, and say OK. If you look at Precision Glass, it now has a tilde in front of it. That tilde means it's been reversed and you cannot transfer it. When you click Print and preview your deposit slip, the top part of your deposit will look the same as it did originally. But as you scroll down the page, you will notice that there is an adjusted deposit amount because you have deposited receipts which have since been reversed. It gives you the amount of the total reversed receipts and your adjusted deposit. Apply payment to order. Let's go ahead and do one more deposit, the new receipt, and save it, and apply to the statement once again. We're selecting our statement group. We are going to pay off the existing invoice, and then we want to apply the rest of it to an order. Put in the amount I wish to apply, and apply to order. This order is ongoing. It goes until December 15th, 2011. If I wanted to look at it, I would click Go to Order, and you would make sure that this order was the one that was correct, and you would make sure of the commission structure. Click OK. We're going to click on this order and click OK. Do you wish to apply against current invoice statement items for order 91-00002? Typically, your answer is no. If they are prepaying and they have an outstanding invoice, that would usually lead one to believe that there was an issue with that outstanding invoice, so they are paying in advance while you straighten out that issue. So you would say no. Notice now that agency, salesperson, and commission all say default to source item. So it is taking that information from the order. Go ahead and click OK, and now you've put in a payment that you applied to the order. Editing payments. If you put in another receipt and forget to change the advertiser and get in and discover that you have the wrong advertiser selected here, simply cancel and select the correct advertiser. Save the receipt again and apply to statement, and OK. If you discover that you've applied the payment to an incorrect invoice, simply double-click the client name in the deposit slip, find this correct statement group, and then select the transaction that you applied it against. At this point, we can remove the application, click on another invoice, and pay that off, and click OK. In Accounts Receivable Lesson 1, we showed you how to enter a credit adjustment. We showed you how to apply existing credits to outstanding items, how to enter a debit adjustment, and then we discussed cash receipts, how to enter a cash receipt for an advertiser, an agency, or for direct income, how to pay off an invoice item, and how to set a receipt as unapplied. We also showed you how to transfer the receipt. We discussed how to reverse a payment, how to apply a payment to an order, and how to edit your payments. From all of us at Marketron, thank you for viewing.